JP, it is great to see you. We miss having you with us on Saturdays, but hope everything's going well with you. Roll Tide.
I know, miss you guys too. I hate not being there, but you are doing a great job. So appreciate you having me on this week. Kind of feels like old times, us getting back together. So, the Tide got a big one this weekend against Tennessee.
Certainly do. And trying to start a new streak, something you know all about. The long 15-game winning streak started with you back in 2007. And just growing up, first of all, what did this rivalry mean to you, Alabama against Tennessee?
It has been such a streaky series for a while there. We were on the other end of that, and it was so funny. But when I grew up in my neighborhood, two of my next door neighbors were both Tennessee fans, so knew the rivalry early, and just how much it's completely different than the Auburn rivalry. I mean, this is unique, right? Tennessee and Alabama fans do not get along, and we had a good stretch at. Hopefully, we get a new streak started. But I think this team is definitely trending in the right direction. But it is. I mean, this is just it's a great rivalry. It really is. I know LSU now has kind of become a big rivalry, but this will always be a big deal to Alabama fans.
It certainly will be. And for you and your college career, you saw some very memorable games, even going back to the 2005 game. Just what a thrilling finish. I think people don't remember that game as much. I mean, that had to be, I know you didn't play in the game, but that had to be one of the most memorable days you had at Bryant-Denny Stadium.
Yeah, we had some great games against them. We won that 2005 game. We lost a tough one in 2006 when we went up there, and probably one of the loudest, if not the loudest stadiums that Alabama goes on the road to play. So just a great fan base. And then, we were able to go out on top, take care of business in 2007. I remember, I think it was my best game I ever played, and DJ Hall had a career day also. So we got them and then went up there and was able to avenge our loss on the road in 2008. So for me, it was obviously an extremely memorable series. And as a player, these big rivalry games, these things live on forever, right? You want to be good in these big games. You want to be good every game, and you got to take it each week, right? But, these are the kind of games that they show in Bryant-Denny Stadium on the scoreboard before kickoff. So you want to make sure you play your best in these big games.
Again, the 15-game winning streak started with that victory in 2007. It was a crazy kind of 24 hours right before that game began with 5 players suspended. What do you remember about that time, and how'd you feel getting ready for what was an early kickoff that day in Tuscaloosa?
Yeah, early kickoff. I think they told us the night before that five people? I think 4 of them were starters, right? And this is kind of in a time where 2007, where we didn't, just Coach Saban's first year, we really didn't know who we were yet as a team. We didn't really have an identity. And it was unique because, without some key starters that were in the lineup, we were able to just kind of rally around each other and go out and get it done. Fulmer was still there. Eric Ainge was the quarterback. So, we probably were not expected to win the game, especially with all those guys being out the day before. You can't even practice the backups if you find out on Friday night. So able to just circle the wagons. And, I remember it was one of those days where, you're in the zone. You hear about players being in the zone and you don't even think, it just happens. And I remember that day was one of them. They didn't happen often, but when they do, they were pretty fun.
They certainly were a lead of cigars that day. And again, that was the start of the 15-game winning streak for Alabama against Tennessee. Now we fast forward to this season. Alabama trying to get back on the winning track in this rivalry. Tennessee won last year on a late field goal. Just how do you feel like this Crimson Tide team is playing, getting ready for this game? Could there have been any looking ahead maybe last week against Arkansas for what's coming up this Saturday?
I think, tough game against Arkansas. Didn't play like we have been playing. I think ever since the Texas game, got through South Florida, this team has been trending upwards, getting better each and every week. I think that's kind of the theme for this team this year. It is nice that we played A&M, Texas played them the next week, so there's going to be a lot of comparables on the film. You're going to have a really good idea of what to expect and what you're going to see on Saturday if you're Alabama or Tennessee. So it's going to be a good matchup. But to me, this is going to is obviously an inflection point for our season this year. Need a big SEC win. Tennessee is a good team. They had our number last year, so I think the guys are getting better. And I think that's the biggest thing is you have a tough loss early in the season against Texas, but just the composure, I think the leadership, the makeup of this team is nice. It's great to see. You can see it on the field. You can see it on the sidelines. You see them in the media when they talk to the guys, just the way they're thinking. So I like the makeup of this team, and I think that can propel you into the rest of the season if you're Alabama football.
What are you seeing right now out of Jalen Milroe? How is he different maybe at this point of the season versus what we saw in the first couple weeks?
I think it's starting to slow down for him. I think he's making better decisions. He's making quicker decisions, right? Okay, I know I want to throw this receiver over here on the right. He's getting the ball out of his hands faster. Obviously, the guy can throw the deep ball. I mean, the connections that he has on these deep balls is a threat. I mean, we always talk about explosive plays. I think he's adding more with his feet. I think he's just becoming more comfortable with the reps that he's gotten. Because he didn't get every rep during training camp. But once he was named the guy, to me, he's learning how to become a starter, learning what it takes for you to be successful throughout the game. Have a couple of drives that don't go well, he shakes them off and he gets back to it. So I think he's getting better. I think he's improved, and I think he'll continue to improve the rest of this year. It was good to see a couple of weeks ago Burton emerge as a kind of a number one wide receiver with a huge game. We had to have the passing game that game to win, and Milroe came through. So, this week is probably going to be a lot of similarities to that A&M game, and just need the offensive line to continue to get better also.
Well, we'll look forward to it. The third Saturday in October coming up. And again, the man that started the long 15-game winning streak for the Tide at quarterback, John Parker Wilson. Thank you so much for joining us as our Alabama Legend of the Week. Again, best to you and the family. Look forward to seeing you again soon. Roll Tide, sir.
Thanks, Roger. Always enjoy, man. Roll Tide.